version looks like. Here, copy here.
Do that.
Bobby's version looks like. Here, copy here.
Do that. Then come here.
Bam. Uncle Bobby's explanation of what he just did, his variant of sword and hammer, he'll be able to demonstrate it in the air and why he did it this way, and then I'm going to come in and he'll demonstrate physically upon me. Okay, so Uncle Bobby, you instead of doing what they normally do, which is a pin and a step and a strike to the throat, you pin the shoulder and instruct to the body. Why did you do that?
Because I want to be able to control the person. So when the person grabs my shoulder, I grab his wrist here at the same time I'm punching into the ribs. Okay, I have to inflict immediate pain and control. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now there's other things I can do too, but I got to stop that person from throwing that right hand.
Yes, sir.
You know, so that's why I'm doing this and pushing them away. And then from here on, I'm doing grabbing the wrist, stepping to the side, and pulling down. I want to control the wrist, control the arm.
Control the arm and the wrist.
That's why that technique. That's why I'm turning it that way. Now we can do a whole lot of other things, but there are options, and the option should be what is the most practical.
The most practical.
The most expedient for the moment.
Yes, sir.
We're not trying to uphold any kind of style, philosophy, or approach or anything like that. We're trying to defend ourselves in such a way where we can get out of this mess right away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is, if the camera is going to be kind, I'm going to put the camera down here, and then I'd like you to demonstrate on me step by step what you just articulated, okay?
Okay.
And why it's different than the traditional pin, step, chop, or sword and hammer. Okay. All right.
Okay. So let's look at the beginning of this technique. So it calls that you step in and you chop the person to the throat, and then you come down and hit them in the groin. Well, that's okay, but let's say we can do something a little bit more expedient. So as soon as that person grabs me, I'm here. I'm taking those ribs out right here. My option is, boom, come down to here. Okay?
Yes,
that's one way of doing it. Notice that I have control of the thumb and all the fingers and the wrist, and I can bend back here and hold on to that.
It hurts a whole lot more than it appears, folks. Okay, so the first movement, as soon as he grabs, that check is bent.
Right into the armpit with the middle knuckle fist or into the ribs. Okay? Another thing you can do is you can pin, and I'm pinching the flesh under the tricep here. That's what I'm pinching, because I want to control that. I want to do that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Another thing you can do is a technique called snapping twig. When the person's grabbing, I'm stepping back, boom, right here. And all I'm doing is trapping the elbow in between the wrist and my right hand, and I'm straightening that. I'm straightening the arm here, and it's resisting against my shoulder here. And that's called a snapping twig, hitting here, against the elbow.
Against the elbow. Now, this is very important here for all of you guys who are really traditionally minded and have had a number of issues with my unusual or avant-garde application of techniques to supposedly inapplicable attacks. You just saw the empirical proof of the evidence to the contrary, and where I got it from. The idea, as he just stated, is to apply the technique as practically and and with as much expeditiousness as you can. So it's not an issue of whether or not a technique can only work in one particular form of attack. The issue is how practically you apply and train your techniques regardless of the application of the technique. Because, as you know, usually what happens is a snapping twig comes from someone pushing you this way. Like yeah, like responses like that. You know, now, and they even say, most instructors will even say there's a particular hand in which the snapping twigs can be applied. Meaning, if you push with your left hand, you know, you can't apply snapping twigs with your right, which is simply not true. If I were to push with my right hand like that, as you can see, he applies it this way. This is where I get it from. This is what I learned since a child. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to this. It's crucial. You're now seeing the physical evidence that basically rebuts directly the assumption that, say, whatever given technique, sword and hammers, snapping twigs, or what have you, is only applicable in a specific scenario. is not just what you know, it's how and why you train. I learned it from him right here. Okay, so next technique.